Welcome to the Determined Mom Show, the only marketing podcast dedicated to guiding mom CEOs into tranquility, wealth, and multiplying those precious moments. Welcome to this episode of the Determined Mom Show. I am very excited to have Amy Klein here, and along with Kelly Roach, they founded Give Her Courage and the Courageous brand. Welcome, Amy. Tell us all about it and tell us your background and how you got started, and then we can go ahead and get into the topic.
Sure. So, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Kelly and I actually founded this company. It started as Give Her Courage about five years ago, I would say now. Now it's an umbrella under our brand, the Courageous brand. In our mission behind the Courageous brand is really to believe in the power of you to make your dreams come true. It started with an idea when I was pregnant with my daughter. Her older daughter Madison was 3 at the time, and I couldn't find anything like children's books, just things that I wanted to buy to start teaching her that courage, that confidence, those type of things, that you could get from books at a young age. And it had me researching even further to realize that there was nothing out there at all as the girls got older. And then also having a background in corporate America and being in a leadership position, Kelly, the same thing. We saw a lot of disparities between men and women in terms of confidence and really just being able to be vocal and speak up and being an advocate for yourself to move up the corporate ladder. So it kind of was like a culmination of all of that. And we wrote our first children's book, Just Be You, for girls. It teaches girls all about the power in believing in themselves and celebrating their friends' individualities and supporting them as well. So it started with that idea, and then it kind of grew, and then we started a retail side where we call it Wear Your Courage. It's basically leisure wear for little girls and women. And now we are the Courageous brand, which is for boys and girls. I have a son too, and I think it's really important that we're teaching all children the skills that they need to set them up for success, no matter what that is for them. And then came our gap year program and the LEAP curriculum, which I know we'll get into.
That's awesome. I love everything. Every guest on this podcast has this creation story, and it almost always centers around pregnancy. So I find it really interesting that there's just a trend, like when we're pregnant, I don't know if it's like we're more creative or we're looking for answers, or we're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to solve this problem. There isn't a solution right now, so I'm going to solve it. I'm not sure what it is, but I love that.
Yeah, it is. That's funny that it's like that. But I do think there's something when you're pregnant and you're having a child and you want to have certain resources and things for them available. And when you don't see it, you're like, I got to do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if it doesn't exist, I'm going to make it happen.
I'm making it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's talk about why disrupting the education system is critical to the success of kids. We had a great pre-call about this, and I'm really excited to get into it again.
So, I'll start with the disclaimer that this is nothing against traditional education. We've got to learn to read and write and math, and we've got to learn all the foundational stuff. But at the end of the day, and it kind of goes along with Kelly and I's mission on believing in the power of you to make your dreams come true, the things that are learned in school are very theoretical. And if you don't, I was diagnosed with ADHD as a young kid, and the way that traditional learning is taught, it's not meant for everybody. But it also doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful because you don't. It's black and white, right? You have to get this grade on a test, or this is how you do the algebra problem. It's just very linear, and that all of those things, wow, great, don't apply to real world, and they don't apply to the success whatever he or she wants to do. So we really need to. Why Kelly and I started the Gap Year program and the LEAP curriculum, which teaches entrepreneurial skills. We have to look at what we're teaching kids. We need to be teaching them critical thinking skills. We need to be teaching them leadership skills. We need to be teaching them direct communication skills, like hands-on problem solving, that mental toughness, how to power through things, resilience. These are the things, if you look at entrepreneurs, we call it the entrepreneurial mindset. They're all the skills that they have. Whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not, the skill set that entrepreneurs have are the skills that you need in your back pocket to be successful, whatever that is for you. So Kelly and I wanted to make a huge change in the education system and allow kids to not feel like they aren't going to be able to be successful, or they aren't, because they don't want to be a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher or whatever it is, then, they don't, where do they fit? and maybe college isn't for them. Maybe
Mhm.
they want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and be in college debt because they didn't need the theories. They wanted to learn how to build a brand or start a podcast or start a business or learn what a P&L statement is and learn financial skills so you can write a business plan, right? Like all of these things that are not taught. It's time for a change to allow people to have these tools and these skill sets to go do what they want to do.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I completely agree. And I love everything that you said. I agree with taking, and we had talked about the entrepreneurial gap year or gap, not necessarily a gap year, but
Yeah.
in the pre-call. And it makes so much sense to me because I remember back when I was 17, graduated high school, I had zero idea what I wanted to be. And yet I had to pick a major in college. And like,
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, I thought I wanted to be an elementary school teacher. I would have been a horrible elementary school teacher. So I am so glad that didn't happen. And I let life kind of guide me where I'm meant to go. But it's just, it's not possible, I don't think, unless someone has
Very
been
few people know I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, right? And then you had to pick the
exactly.
liberal. I did the same thing, the liberal arts. We had to, if you
Yeah.
didn't pick the major, and then it almost sets you back because
Mhm.
then once you picked your major, you weren't taking the right courses for that. I
Yes.
ended up doing 5 years because I was set back because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very common. And it also makes people feel like not good about themselves. It, deteriorates your confidence when you're like, oh, it took me 5 years. If you tell
Yeah.
someone that, they're like, oh, but it's not because of that. It's because you needed to
Trying to
take
figure
that
it
time.
out.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
need to take classes and you need to decide which things appeal to you, which don't. But I love the entrepreneurial gap year because it really allows you to dive in, right, to
A
different
100%.
areas.
I mean, the goal of the gap year is twofold. I mean, it could go either way, really. If it's for, I also think besides having to pick a major, when you graduate high school, you're so young. Like you're not necessarily, you might not necessarily be ready to go to college. That doesn't necessarily mean college isn't for you, but you just might not be ready. So in that path, you could take the gap year. You don't have to go to county college or local college just to keep going, and you can work on building your own sustainable business plan, or of starting a podcast or building your brand. Like we're going to teach you all the things that you need to utilize, like starting a company, or those skills will complement you when you theoretically go on to college, if that's what you choose to do. Hey, you could take it and start a podcast or start a company while you go to college,
Yeah.
right? If you want college. But it's also for people who know that college is not for them,
Mhm.
and they're just checking the box to go to college because everyone tells them to. Well, now, I mean, the jobs that are today are not going to be what they are when our kids graduate. So if you learn all of these skills and how to start a business online and confidence on camera, you are setting yourself up to start your own business. You're not going to need hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that in
Yeah.
college by going to college.
Yes, exactly. And I know professionals that are doctors, they have still so much college
Oh,
debt that they make
yeah.
take home like less than the average entrepreneur, and it's because, you keep having to pay back those hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans after going to school for a decade plus, so it's definitely interesting. And I like that you're giving young people the perspective and the permission that they need. I think that is the biggest thing, is the permission, and like, it's okay to do this. It's okay to figure it out before you go spend thousands of dollars on something that
Sure.
you may not want.
100%.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's talk about the academy. I'm very curious about this because my daughter, well, I have a 9-year-old who will be 9 Sunday, and then I have a 11-year-old who will be, well, she'll be 11 next month. So this is right in
It's
that
right in
area.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
We say it's basically about for girls 8 to 13. So it's called Entre Girls Academy, and it's a 12-year learning, or sorry, 12-month learning experience for girls.
mhm.
And the core pillars of the Entre Girls Leadership Academy is really kind of what I talked about in the beginning, Kelly and I's goal to teach girls to have the courage, confidence, and entrepreneurial skills so that they can master and do anything that they want to do in life. And because it's supplementing what they're not getting in school. So each month we have a module that's, what we would say is the entrepreneurial mindset model. It could be how to start a business, how to scale a business. It could be how to start a podcast, how to build a personal brand, mental toughness, resilience, all of those soft skills that we believe are most pertinent and important for girls to be successful in life, leadership skills, direct communication skills. So we have a different module every month, and they can apply it. The whole point is application, which is a lot of what we don't get in school. Like they're applying it with the girls in the academy with them. And then we also have a social topic. So we usually bring on an expert. So we'll talk about maybe social media, things that are relevant to the girls at that age. Social media bullying, how to be unique and stand out, using your voice the right way, all of those kind of topics that we were mom and daughter are navigating through in those tough years. And then we have a 6, 7, 8-figure CEO come on. They do a think tank session based on what their business is, and they kind of teach them, peek behind the door. They get once a month, they all get together and they talk about it. It's really good for them to develop like the leadership skills and networking, because now they have these girls in the academy that have big goals and big dreams like them. And it takes them outside of that one bubble in school. And sometimes what happens to girls is, and boys, you have your one bubble in school. And when something goes wrong, and there's drama, you're just kind of sucked into all of that. And it gives you outlets to have friends elsewhere and that are going to challenge you to be the best you.
Yeah, I love that. And is there a chat element, or is there a community element in the academy?
Yeah, so everything is live. They're doing this all live and they're on together.
Awesome.
And then once a month, they come together at the girls and they talk about the monthly topics, but also they get paired up on the modules. So if it's, we're talking about how to build resilience or something like that, we might pair the girls up to give scenarios to complete the work together. And we switch them up so they get to learn and meet new people. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And is there kind of like a path curriculum, like, okay, on your own, you're going to be doing these modules and then we'll have the live module together every month?
Yeah, so the modules are not, those are the ones that aren't live. That's what we use the system Kajabi. So they have a module they get each month and it's for 12 months, and they also get the previous years. So there's like a library of ones that they can go, at their own leisure, look through if they want to from the year before. And then they have a specific one that's going to take them from 1 to 12 when they're in it.
This is amazing. This is really, really life-changing. And I can see that it could change the path of so many lives of people. Like if they have this one influence in their life, it would change the trajectory of what they're going to do with their life. I think it's absolutely powerful. And I commend you and Kelly for starting it. It's just completely amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So are there any other things that you would like to share with us about why this disruption is so important?
I would just say if it's a mom listening and you have a daughter maybe your age or kids my age, or even if you have a daughter or son in high school, the biggest thing that we can do as parents is really just listen and allow them the opportunity to try everything. Like I let my kids do everything. They've tried every sport, every community camp, this, that, the other, and whether it's a STEM camp or rock climbing, or I just want them to find what they're passionate about. That's the first part, is allowing them to do that. And then the second part is listening. What do they like? What are they interested in? Because I think a lot of the time, it's just this check the box. Okay, now you did this, you got to get this on your SATs, then you're going to go to college. And it's, well, what are their dreams? What are their goals? What's going to make them happy? And then know that it's becoming much more normal. There might be a different path for them to be successful and much happier than just the check the box mentality. So I think my takeaways for the disruption is, when you're bringing it into your own home and you're thinking about education and your child's happiness, allow them to explore all options so they can find what their passion is. And the second part is really just to listen.
I love that. I think that's listening is important for everything and everyone. And I think giving those tips and tools for us to actually guide our kids. And I love that you give them permission to do everything as well, because if they don't feel like they can do things and try things, then they're never going to experiment with that.
And it gives them confidence too. The listening gives them confidence, right? Because they're listening and being heard. And the courage comes from allowing that, actually having them try things, that's stepping outside their comfort zone. You go maybe rock climbing is this week for camp, and next week they're trying lacrosse, right? So when you try things, you build confidence.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, and very excited to enroll my daughters in your academy for sure. Where can people find you online? Where is the best place to find you?
Yeah, so I would go to www.givehercourage.com. You can see more about what we're doing on the education side and our retail line, and then at Give Her Courage Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate you being here. And I am very excited to see what unfolds with you and Kelly in the future as well, because I feel like you both have this generation of great ideas and great products and great services. And I just feel like you're just going to keep going with that and growing. So
thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. This episode of the Determined Mom Show is brought to you by Google Growth Generator. This 21-day email course will help you learn to optimize your Google My Business listing in the same way that we do for our clients here at TDM Marketing. Our client, a baby sleep specialist, got 126.32% more website visits in the first month after her optimization was completed. Another client, a chiropractic practice, got 26.67% more phone calls in the first month after optimization was completed. And finally, our client, who is a residential cleaning service, got 61.11% more website visits in the first month after optimization. If you're not sure if Google My Business optimization is for you, listen to what Kristen Ratton from Kristen Ratton Content Services had to say about her optimization. I hired Amanda to optimize my Google My Business listing, and within 10 days, my views were up 150%. This may be one of the most valuable things I've ever done for my business, and Amanda made it quick, easy, and painless. If you are ready to get started with your Google My Business optimization, go over to gomybusiness.com. That's gomybusiness.com/growth.